Hey Homeworthy, my name's Sarah Solis. Welcome to my home in Malibu, California. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Sarah Solis. We're here at my home in Malibu, California. I am the owner and founder, principal designer at Sarah Solis Design Studio and Gallery Solis. Point Dume has always been a dream destination to raise our family in this incredible community and location near the ocean. We actually didn't plan on moving here at the time that we did, but it was COVID and there was an opportunity where we saw this house that needed some love and attention, and we decided to take a chance on it. So we sold our house, our previous house, and moved in here and began the renovation process, which took us about 3.5 years. And we've been living here in the renovated and updated space for about the last year. And it's been an amazing experience. So here we are in the foyer, or the entry of our home. One of the things I love about this room is this Baldwin rim lock door hardware. It's very old world and nostalgic, and I love the action on it. It also has the original skeleton key that goes with it, which is just a cool detail to have. The kids love it too. I love to accessorize with all of the great finds at Olive Atelier. This piece is one of their found like platters, and you can use it for keys. I use it bedside sometime, but I think it's just a really great catch-all, which provides like an earthiness and that just like a cool natural vibe to the space. This is an antique Swedish console that I collected in one of my Europe trips, and a loved art piece by my good friend Tamsin Reed. I love found vessels, again, Olive Atelier. Cool glass piece to have some nice shine and shimmer to it, and a vintage rope French table lamp. Another really cool feature in our entry is the reclaimed Belgian bluestone brick tile. I set them with a larger grout line, so it provided a bit more texture and contrast, which I think provides like a bit more attention to the pattern and the uneven undulations of the reclaimed brick itself. I thought that was just like a cool way to bring in texture and really highlight the pattern of this really cool old tile. So we brought back some of that early colonial, traditional millwork details with wall paneling, and a way to make it feel really fresh is that we used paint on all of the millwork, and we used Roman clay plaster on the walls, which is a detail I feel really proud of. We did a custom stairway handrail that runs up the stairwell, and a fun thing that we explored here was I had designed out this like beautiful, like old world inspired, European inspired stairway handrail on this side of the stairs. And when we finished installing the stairs, I went through a couple of iterations of mock-ups or samples for the handrail, and nothing felt quite right. It looked so good in drawings, but when we got it to site, we really ended up loving it being open. It breathes so much space, and it really opens things up into a pretty, I would say, intimate foyer. And we ended up leaving the handrail off of the right side of the stairs, and it's been one of the best decisions we made. Another detail that's really fun about the millwork that we did throughout the house is we went ahead and provided millwork casing for all of the switch plates. And we went with Forbes and Lomax rotary switches for all of our electrical switches. So this is, a very old world throwback detail that a lot of people don't like to do because they don't want to spend the extra money on providing this millwork around or for your switches, but it's a really beautiful way to showcase nice hardware and nice switches. There are very few traditional homes in the Malibu community, and so when we saw this opportunity come onto the market, we really jumped at the opportunity to create a family home in Malibu that is traditional and warm and inviting. And we had so much fun reimagining the space to be thoughtful and detailed with this old world nod that is very modern and fresh. So we brought in plaster and natural wood finishes and organic materials that really connected to the earth and I'd say a more Malibu way of living, connected to nature and an environment, but in a very traditional and timeless way. So it's been really fun to reimagine this space into a really fresh perspective on traditional. So now the first room we're going to check out is the kitchen. Follow me. So this is our kitchen. I drenched it in Calicotta Viola Italian marble. Really nice thick slabs, and all European, actually imported from France, professional hardware. And I really love the chunky hardware and the chunky counters. I think it's a really fresh and chic way to play with the materials. We did inset cabinetry. And then both in the kitchen and in our butler's pantry, we did integrated sinks out of the same Calicotta Viola. And then to contrast the painted cabinets, we did a floating white oak butcher countertop island, and then a white oak integrated buffet, which houses all of our dishes and stemware and serving pieces. It's a great utilitarian and beautiful way to store all of the functional needs for entertaining, but also daily use dishware. We did plaster backsplash that goes all the way down to the counter. I think some people are a little bit scared to do that sometimes, but in all of the places that I've visited throughout Europe, it's a common practice. And so we gave it a try here, and it's been really successful. We also did integrated outlets that have a plaster finish on them, which is a really nice, seamless, more contemporary way of having receptacles. Another fun detail is we actually recessed the marble range backsplash into the drywall, and so it's flush. The marble is flush with the drywall with a plaster finish. It's pretty cool. This is a Le Cornufet French range, one of my absolute favorite professional French ranges. It has been a beauty and a wonderful cooking tool. As you can see, we did an integrated kick. So it's not a traditional American toe kick on the cabinetry. The only place we did a detailed toe kick is under the apron front sink. The apron front sink is a integrated Calicotta Viola that we did custom, pretty much every detail in this house has been customized to some extent, or to full extent. We did 3 beautiful pendants. This is the creamware by Deval Kitchens. And we'd actually intended a different light in this space, and I ordered it and waited for months upon months for it to arrive. And this was a temporary fix that we fell in love with. And I thought that I would have wanted a little bit more contrast here. And I had ordered a patinaed brass light fixture that was similar to this. But then once this was installed and we lived with it, I completely fell in love with the beautiful creamy glow and how it sets off of the Roman shades and the other creamy textures that are in the space. Another cool detail here is we did a fluted glass. It reminds me of corduroy, but it's also something that I've seen throughout bistros in Paris that they use for their buffets and whatnot. And so it was a fun nod to European travels and experiences there. I have a pretty cool collection of one of my favorite ceramicists, LA Clay. And he's actually in Altadena, and here in Los Angeles, and we have a full collection of all the different shapes and styles of plates and bowls that he does. We're really into collecting bowls, and what's great about these is that they all have like their own shape. Every single piece is handmade, and it really enhances the storytelling of our home. To have artisan-made pieces that we use and function with every day. I love picking up a bowl and having its own organic shape and handheld feel to it. And there's nothing like little sauce bowls. I mean, you can't have enough of these. I love this stemware and glassware, also hand blown from France. I actually got it at this little store up in Agora Hills that's near our studio called A Beautiful Mess. They have beautiful one-of-a-kind collected pieces, and this was a set that I got from them around the holidays. We do a lot of indoor-outdoor living in Southern California in general, but especially in this house in Malibu, we love to live with the doors wide open and the windows open so that we get this beautiful cross breeze between the front and the back of the house. It also invites our dogs to run in and out of the house and the kids to run in and out of the house. But we've created these really beautiful moments along the back porch where we can sit close to the doors and really set up opportunities for meditative views and inspiration, and really instills the sense of calm because all of your visual perspectives and opportunity are inspiring or just meditative. The kitchen naturally flows into the dining room, which is a intimate, cozy, warm, inviting space. We did something different with the space planning here, and this is actually a Gallery Solis dining table that I designed myself and is part of our heritage collection. We love a round dining table because it really puts everybody on the same plane and space. I'm very connected to Asian philosophy and the idea that there's no end and there's no beginning to a circle. So I think that's like a great way to start a conversation, especially at a dinner party. This set of chairs is Pierre Jeanneret, and it is probably one of my most favored collectibles in our home. This is just a beautiful, beautiful, artful piece of history that took a while to collect, but I found it at an auction house in Paris and won the bid. This piece over here is by Charles DeDoit, another faved furniture designer. He designed this in the 30s, and it's a white oak and with a beautiful, beautiful antique patina that it just tells stories. I absolutely love this. This was a painting that my husband and I collected a few years ago. It's a Swedish oil painting, and I love the way the colors work together and how it's this beautiful, understated contemporary landscape, but it's definitely a Swedish mid-century piece. This is a Swedish barrel chair. I collected this a few years back, and the patina on it was not consistent with what I thought it should look like. And so I ended up bleaching it and then sunbathing it so that it has a really nice stripped back patina as to what it would have looked like originally. The art piece here on the wall is one of my own, and it's something that I had in our collection, and it felt like the perfect place for it to live, because it is a very calming and neutral artwork that lets this room really breathe. Another favorite piece is this vintage Italian Murano glass chandelier. This is a piece that I collected many years ago and have had in storage until we bought this home. And I knew this was the perfect place for it to live. I am a collector of Murano chandeliers, and this one is probably one of my most favorite. I love the way these French doors create a picture of the outdoors. We decided to do sliders instead of swinging doors because it really encourages opening up these doors and not taking up space within the footprint of the room. But a favorite view is the picture that these doors create. All right, let's go into the family room. Welcome to the family room. We spend a lot of time in here every morning, every night. We lounge on our sofa. This is one of our Sarah Solis heritage pieces, and it is called the Commune sofa. It basically makes up Sofa City in here. And absolutely love having the fireplace on while we're hanging out in here watching a movie or a game. This piece of artwork was done by a very, very good friend of ours, Sage Vaughn, and there are some really cool details in it that speak to our family, such as bicycle wheels. My husband's a cyclist. Baseball. My son is a baseball player. There's messages or nods in this beautiful collage piece that speak personally to our family. Another coveted furniture piece is this Prague chair. This will stay with me for the rest of my life. It's reupholstered in a beautiful creamy shearling. We did a custom mohair area rug scaled to fit the room really beautifully. And then this is a coffee table that I designed and built for my furniture line, Sarah Solis, as well. We have a really beautiful large Ficus altissima plant in a collected vintage basket, again from Olive Atelier. The lights are by RW Guild, one of my favorite designers producing lighting. They're in an unlacquered brass finish and pieces that I really love. I love the painted vaulted ceiling in here. Again, gives this beautiful expanse, breadth of space to other areas, like in contrast to other areas where it might be a bit more contracted, We have this beautiful Dutch armoire that we keep all of our pool towels in. And it has been a fun case piece for storage purposes for the pool outside rather than doing built-ins. I've always been a fan of a window seat. This is one of our favorite spots to curl up, and even if it's just playing with my daughter, American Girl doll or the like, we use this bench quite a lot, and it's a really beautiful view into the backyard, and again, a way to transport you into another feeling. This is where I have my Nancy Meyers moment, and it feels very cinema-like. The Roman shades are by Woven Home, one of my favorite drapery fabricators, and we did this really cool netting on the shades so it filters the light really beautifully, and we used antique brass controls, so it has a really nice patinaed story to the hardware. But as you can see, there's like this really nice light filtering netting fabric for the shades by Pierre Frey. Through the dining room, we go over to the formal living room. Welcome to the formal living room. I absolutely love these beautiful rusty colors and linen textures that invite intimate gatherings. We did a beautiful Gallery Solis table in here. This was the first one I designed for the Heritage Collection, and now it lives in our family home. We did a aloe and silk rug in here that is both earthy and soft to the touch. Another favorite collected piece for me personally is this Swedish bowl from the early 1800s. It's probably the biggest bowl I have ever owned. I don't put anything in it because I'm so inspired by the texture within the bowl. This was built out of a chunk of wood. These are some pretty cool vintage Swedish lights that I had new shades made for. I used a silk fabric for the shades, and I essentially copied the original shades but in a new silk. I love the gathered pleat. Some fun stuff on our bookshelves. I have some collected crystals, a vintage oil painting, some of my favorite art books. My husband is a photographer, and so we love to collect photography books as well as fine art. I also have a degree in fine arts and art history, and so you'll see a lot of books on fine artists. This antique oil painting was found at an auction in Europe, and it's unknown to me who the artist is, but it is definitely a favorite art piece that we've collected. It looks to be 1800s, but we're not really sure what the story is. We like to gather around and give him different names. This is a vintage reclaimed limestone fireplace mantle, which was collected from an estate in the south of France. Yeah, we use the fireplaces throughout the house quite frequently. In fact, last night they were on all night, all three fireplaces. It's just a really great mood, and it's warm and cozy and inviting, actually draws you into the room. So we have some fun art books on here. This is a piece that I got at the Gem Fair. This is a solid piece of pyrite, and I like to think that it brings great energy to our space. This box is really cool. This was my grandmother's family's collected box of history with some a letter in here that dates back to 1918. Another cool Swedish bowl. As you can see, I love collecting these hand-turned pieces that people once used and have touched and experienced. I just feel like there's such good storytelling with great objects. And it also provides an opportunity to feel inspired. I love layering tones of neutrals and browns and bringing in that earthy experience. As you can see, I use a velvet here on these ottomans, which is a textural difference to the linen that I used on the chairs, but I love that it's tone and very warm and inviting. The sofa over here is from my Heritage collection with Sarah Solis, and I brought in another brown. We call this velvet color Bourbon in the Sarah Solis Italian milled cotton velvet line. My kids all take piano lessons on our 1920s Steinway. We had it fully restored after buying it at another auction. This is a very cool piece here in the living room. This pot is by ceramicist Stan Bitters. It's one of his original thumbprint vessels that he made in the early mid-century. Moving into the library, we did these really cool French doors that open up into an oak-drenched analog space. The doors are also white oak. This room houses all of our favorite books. We call it our analog room because we have a record player in here, and we like to use this space to play guitar or do homework or read a book. But it's a very meditative, calm, and warm, cozy space for lounging. So we've always created a space within our home that is truly unplugged and truly analog. And a library for this traditional colonial home was an absolute must. And so it was so great that we were able to find the space in this floor plan to capture this moment and really lean into it. And I think that we really brought the warmth by doing the entire room in white oak. So all of the shelves are white oak, it's paneled in white oak, and even the beautiful doors that bring you into the space is white oak as well. I was able to source a perfectly sized Tuareg mat, which is a beautiful textural antique rug from Africa, and it provides like a really nice warmth and artistic element to space while also feeling tonal and also feeling nicely layered. We all use this space to some capacity. I'd say this is the most quiet room in the home, and so my husband mostly uses it for playing guitar or listening to records. My son definitely uses it for the same reasons. He'll come in here and listen to some music, or he will read a book, or if he needs some space while he's studying from his loud sister, he tends to come into here, or his loud mom. And I personally use this space to retreat from the otherwise noises of the rest of the house. You know, it isn't a noisy house, but when you have like a full family and people coming and going, friends stopping by, it's so great to have a space that you can find quiet and retreat to. It's also a great space to meditate in. Or just when you're looking for headspace to source inspiration. So I might bring a book in here when I'm dreaming up a new project and really take the time and space to let myself be inspired. So this is a traditional home, a traditional colonial home that we've reimagined with a fresh perspective. It's 5 bedroom, 6.5 bathroom, and it definitely balances both closed and open spaces. That is probably one of my most favorite things about this space plan. The more closed spaces or contracted spaces are the formal living room and the dining room. We've got a little bit lower ceilings, and they're very warm and intimate and cozy and calm. And I love it because it feels like a big hug. It feels like you're contained and safe, and oftentimes people love gathering in this room, and like we play puzzles or we play games or we talk and have charcuterie and tell stories. It's very inviting to have more intimate spaces. And then we make our way through the dining room and into the family room, and we've got this great breadth of space that expands with vaulted ceilings and another warm, cozy fireplace. But then we also have this really great bay window where we did a window seat, and we love to sit there and even just read, or I think the view outside right there is especially beautiful. But it's a really great larger space for watching movies and gathering with a bigger group. Let's go upstairs to see the bedrooms. Entering into my daughter's room, we've completely color drenched it in her favorite color, which is pink. We used a Portola paint for the walls and all the built-in cabinetry. We did these very European style built-in closet spaces, which are really fun and beautiful. And the pink canopy bed is a little girl's dream bed, which is really fun. Even at bedtime, we sit nestled into this beautiful canopy and read books at bedtime. I used the Woven Home pink peony linen, and I did that for the entire canopy as well as the drapery. And then I used a fun floral pink pattern to accent all the details. Over here we have an antique velvet upholstered pink sofa, and my daughter's designed dollhouse. She likes to pull samples from my sample library and use them in her own dollhouse or in her art projects. And so she has created her own fun little dollhouse of my design samples. So we designed this room so it would really transition with her as she grows. And we used, antiques paired with new pieces, paired with custom pieces like the canopy and the lampshades so that they all integrate. But what's great is that she'll really be able to grow with this space, and it's fun and feminine and really speaks to her personality. Here we are in our primary bedroom. So we did a custom mohair upholstered bed with a really nice long headboard that runs the expanse past the bedside tables. The bed and our bedside tables was made by our furniture company, Sarah Solis. They will be pieces that you'll see in future collections. Our bed is designed with really nice, clean, contemporary lines. I find that calming in a bedroom space. It's less fussy, and it's easier to make a bed and to put layers on. I like a lower bed, which I think also helps complement the breadth of space that we get in the vaulted ceilings here. We use the Sarah Solis Italian milled mohair. Color is salt. The bedside lights are by Jam out of London and have a really nice glow in the evening, again with that really creamy porcelain shade on them. I like a really nice lumbar pillow to dress my bed with, and I usually layer it with a gauzy foot blanket for extra texture. A really special feature of this room are the murals that surround the entire space. They are by James Mobley, and we chose to do a tone-on-tone mural so that it's a beautifully diffused, almost ethereal feeling of landscape. And one of the coolest things I like about how we designed this mural and how we brought it to life was it mimics the hillsides that surround the house. So it's the same type of trees, it's the same type of hillsides. So as you look out the windows, the hills continue along the landscape within the room. We plastered all the walls of the bedroom before we had the murals installed. And we left the fireplace with its just naked plaster. In the evenings, you can hear the waves crashing at the beach down here at Point Dume, and it's really nice to sleep with the windows open or even these big sliders open. There's this incredible ocean breeze that comes in, and the view out here in the evening is just as magical as it is during the day. We have these beautiful old olive trees that are lit up and reflect upon the pool. So here we are in the front yard. As you can see, it is a traditional colonial. The original house had a yellow brick facade, and I overgrouted it and did a nice slurry texture over the front so that it has a bit more of that undulated natural finish that really speaks to me and my design ethos. We did a reclaimed front door. It's a really nice old thick front door with unique windows in it and millwork detail. I added gas lamps on either side, which really cues up the emotions when you come to the front entry. And then I did symmetrically balanced, beautiful Italian pots with overflowing lavender to really create that emotional moment when you reach the front door. Over here on the right side of our yard, we have a bocce court. It's big enough to play bocce or pétanque, and then we made a seating area around it with a really fun swing for the kids to play in. We have the entire property is insulated by a hedge, and then we have olive trees and beautiful landscape lighting throughout so that it has a really nice warm glow in the evening. Moving out to the backyard, we have this really beautiful circular open airflow between the back doors opening out to the backyard. And over here we've got banks of sliders that open up to the back patio, one of my favorite places to hang out with the kids or with friends or watch the sunset. Sometimes we even eat dinner out here on these lounge chairs. It's a beautiful transition for indoor-outdoor living. Everything just feels circular and open transition between inside and outside. So these lounge chairs are a great way to play up the emotion of this traditional home. It feels very Nancy Myers in style, as I've mentioned earlier. But I love all of this wicker furniture that we've used throughout the backyard as well. And then I've paired it with these organic stumps as side tables, which are a really great juxtaposition to a more traditional element with an earthy element. So we kept the original shape of the swimming pool and replastered it with a dark bottom pool, and then I used a Moroccan Zalige from clay tile for the pool tile. I added a beautiful Roman step so that you can use it as an expanded Baja shelf. So we did a native fescue grass, which is a no-mow and a very low water grass, which is really great in California. There's Ben. It adds a beautiful texture and a beautiful element for the backyard. Home is safe, it is warm, and it is calm. It is a place for serenity, it is a place for restoration, and it is a place that you feel most able to be vulnerable with your family and your friends.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.